Crohn's disease, one of the very important inflammatory bowel diseases from the examination point of view. It is also known as regional enteritis because of the patchy lesions that may involve any area or any region of the gastrointestinal tract. The other inflammatory bowel disease is ulcerative colitis, which will be discussed in another lecture. In this lecture, I will only be explaining Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disease characterized by the chronic relapsing inflammation of the bowel, in which the inflammation recurs after a certain period of the time with the same symptoms of the disease. This inflammation may form the lesions which are called the skip lesions that occur in the different areas of the intestine, while the rest of the intestine remain normal. It may be due to inappropriate abnormal mucosal immune activation, but the exact cause is still unknown. Some scientists may think that the Crohn's disease may result from combined effects of alteration in host interactions with intestinal microbiota, intestinal epithelial dysfunction, aberrant mucosal immune response, and altered composition of gut microbiome. The inflammation that occurs in Crohn's disease is transmural, that is, it involves all the layers of the intestine. Here you can see in the picture, this inflammation is transmural and it involves the full thickness of the intestine involving all of the layers of the intestine, that is mucosa, submucosa, muscularis layer and the serosa. These fissures form the knife-like fissures. The Crohn's disease may occur in any area of the GIT. That is, it may occur anywhere from mouth to the anus with the skip lesions, which are the characteristic finding of the Crohn's disease. But the common sites of the Crohn's disease are terminal ileum, ileocecal valve and the cecum. The disease may occur only in small intestine and also may only occur in the colon and may involve both the small intestine and the colon. The patient of the Crohn's disease may present clinically with fever, non-bloody diarrhea and right lower quadrant pain. Some books write that the patient of Crohn's disease may present with bloody diarrhea, which occurs in severe form of the disease. Malabsorptive disorder is also associated with Crohn's disease, which may occur because of the damage to the inner wall of the intestine. Fistula formation is also the characteristic finding of Crohn's disease, which may occur because of the perforation to the intestinal wall. Crohn's disease is also associated with carcinoma development, especially when the disease is colonic, that is, it is involving the colonic part of the intestine. In smokers, the risk of developing Crohn's disease is greater. The extraintestinal manifestations of the Crohn's disease are uveitis, migratory polyarthritis, sacroiliitis, ankylosing spondylitis, erythema nodosum, and the clubbing of the finger. The string sign on the barium swallow is the characteristic finding of the Crohn's disease, which I will show you in the picture later. The features like cobblestone appearance of the mucosa, fissure and thickened wall, and fat wrapping or the creeping fat will be discussed in gross morphology and the histological features of the disease. On gross morphology, the major differentiating feature of Crohn's disease is skip lesions. These are actually the lesions with multiple separate, sharply delineated areas, which are actually the areas with clear edges or the boundaries. Strictures are also common in Crohn's disease, which are resulted due to thickening of the intestinal wall that lead to decrease in the size of the lumen of the intestine. Cobblestone appearance of mucosa of intestine is also the differentiating feature of Crohn's disease, in which the diseased tissue is depressed below the level of normal tissue. You will see the normal area of the mucosa surrounded by the depressed diseased tissue. Fissures may develop between the mucosal folds and may extend deeply to become fistula tracts or sites of perforation. Thickened intestinal wall may also be seen in Crohn's disease, which may occur due to transmural edema, inflammation, submucosal fibrosis, and hypertrophy of muscularis propria. This thickening of the intestinal wall actually result into stricture formation. creeping fat on serosal surface is also the major differentiating feature of Crohn's disease. In extensive transmural disease, the mesenteric fat extends around the serosal surface, which is actually the creeping fat. Let we find all these gross morphological features in these pictures. Picture from the Robbins pathology have clearly shown you the stricture formation, which is resulted due to the thickening of the wall of the intestine. This stricture formation result into the decrease in the size of the lumen. This is the decreased size of the lumen, and here you can differentiate the normal lumen of the intestine. In this picture, you can clearly appreciate the linear ulceration of the mucosa. These are the linear ulcerations of the mucosa. The mucosa also give the cobblestone appearance, in which there is the central normal raised area surrounded by the disease depressed area. Another picture from the Robbins pathology have clearly shown you the creeping fat around the serosal surface, which is actually the mesenteric fat extend around the serosal surface. Here is another picture showing the perforation in the intestinal wall and the associated serositis, which is actually the inflammation of the serosa of the intestine. This is a picture from pathoma. You can clearly differentiate the cobblestone appearance of the mucosa of the intestine, in which there is the raised normal mucosa of the intestine surrounded by the depressed diseased tissue. In this picture, you can also see the stricture formation, in which there is the thickening of the wall of the intestine that resulted into the decrease in the size of the lumen. This is the normal lumen, and this is the lumen with the decreased size. Here you can also appreciate the creeping fat extending around the serosal surface, which is actually the mesenteric fat. A picture from the internet have clearly shown you the skip lesions, in which you can clearly appreciate the alternative areas of the normal colon or the normal intestine with the diseased intestine. This is the normal intestine, this is the area with the skip lesion, this is again the normal intestine, and this is the area with the lesion in the intestine. This is the barium swallow imaging taken from the pathoma, in which you can clearly appreciate the string sign. This is the string sign, which occurs due to the obstruction in the intestine, due to which the barium cannot move towards the obstructed area, but some of the barium leak into the area of the obstructed intestine, which give the appearance of a string. The microscopic features of Crohn's disease include crypt abscess formation, in which there is cluster of neutrophils within the crypts. These crypt abscess are associated with crypt destruction. Ulceration is also common in Crohn's disease, which is characterized by the excavation of mucosal lining of intestine. There may be an abrupt transition between the ulcerated and adjacent normal mucosa. Repeated cycles of crypt destruction and regeneration lead to distortion of mucosal architecture. The normally straight and parallel crypts take on bizarre branching shapes and unusual orientation to one another. Epithelial metaplasia is another consequence of chronic relapsing injury. The Paneth cell metaplasia may be seen in left colon, where Paneth cells are normally absent. Mucosal atrophy with loss of crypts may result after the years of the disease. The non-caseating granulomas is a hallmark of Crohn's disease. They are found in any layer of the intestinal wall, and they may also be seen in mesenteric lymph nodes. Cutaneous granulomas are also seen in Crohn's disease. This is a picture from Robbins pathology, and you can clearly differentiate the distortion of mucosal architecture characterized by the repeated cycles of destruction of the crypts and the regeneration of the crypts resulted into the haphazard organization of the crypts. In this picture, you can clearly differentiate the non-caseating granuloma characterized by the giant cells and the epithelioid cells at the center surrounded by the rim of lymphocytes. This is another picture containing the submucosal granulomas and the serosal granuloma. The submucosal granulomas are seen in the submucosal layer, while the serosal granuloma is seen in the serosal layer of the intestinal wall. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you will find this video helpful, productive and practical.
Hey warriors, be productive and like, share and comment the video. Subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any update from Morphopath.